live, and then we are good. One moment here. Okay. And okay. All right, we're live. I'm just going to make a comment in the group to let everybody know we are live.
Uncle Mad, a bet.
Okay, my eye, everyone. Sorry for our delay this morning. I'm just gonna post to everyone that we are live. Okay. All right. Our mess is here. All right. Add him to the stage, and then we will get started. Okay, my eye. Okay, my eye. We are just getting started.
Come on.
All right. So we're just about to start with the opening of the way, and we'll get the morning started. All right. Should we all stand? We can get this morning going.
As we are standing and we're getting into the pose of adoration, please take your pose of adoration. And we begin with the word of honor. Network in Bahat.
Network in Butthead.
Nuke in Bahat.
Nuke in Butthead.
Network happy.
Network happy.
Nuke happy.
Nuke happy.
Dwa R Hrw.
Enter.
Turn to your right. Network circuit.
Network circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Nuke circuit.
Network Kepsanu.
Network Kepsanu.
Nuke Kepsanu.
Nuke Kepsanu.
Dwa R Hrw.
Enter.
Turn to your right. Network AS.
Network AST.
Nuke AS.
Nuke AST.
Network set.
Network set.
Nuke set.
Nuke set.
Dwa R Hrw.
Enter.
Network neat.
Network neat.
Nuke neat.
Nuke neat.
Network Dwa Mutaf.
Network tough.
Dwa R
Hrw.
Network Newt.
Network newt.
Nuke Newt.
Nuke newt.
Network Geb.
Network Geb.
Dwa
Nuke.
Network Nuke.
Definitely.
Network shoot.
Network Nuke shoot. Shoot. Network shoe. Network shoe. Network shoe. Nuke shoe. Network Geb.
Network tough newt.
Network Geb.
Tough newt.
Network Geb. Network Geb, Nuke, Geb, Dwa R Hrw and Tor, Netrak Parut into Nuke Parut into Netrak and Boo into Nuke and Boo into Dwa R Hrw and Tor.
All right, we say Dwa R Hrw, Ankra Saraj. All right, Dua Baba Heru, Ankra Samaj Sepata, Ma'ak Heru, opener of the way, bearer of Ma'at, custodian of the Ankh. We continue the ritual which you have brought to us in honor of your legacy in our walk. Dua. All right.
Now, before we begin, we must slow down as we doing the opening of the way. I think that sometimes that's what gets us a little bit nervous. Hope my screen comes back. In doing the open of the way, we missed one of the principles in doing that, and that was Tefnut. So everyone, just remember, just breathe through this. This is not a race. You'll find out that if you slow down a little bit, it gives your mind the chance to realize what the next principle is that needs to be said before you move on. It gives you time to speak it clearly as we going around the 360 degrees and acknowledging all the principles. It's very key that we do this. The next thing I would like to elaborate is this, that in order to honor a teacher, you the student must surpass what is passed on to you. Okay. And Baba Haru did give us the opening of the way. The Ashranama tried to follow in concept in the true order, and they gave their opening of the way at the north. But it's key. It is very key now that we give the true concept of the principles of the deities in their right order. And it is key because I believe that it saved my life, because as I was doing the open of the way, as I told you, it was just not just to open the principles of guardianship. They cover organs. And I was able to have a very successful operation. I'm getting ready to go to the next phase in a couple of weeks. So it's key that we say these things in order. Please study them and make that a part of the growing process as you're practicing this Kemetic, ancient African spirituality.
Dua. Absolutely.
Dwa.
Dua. All right. And just as he said, the key importance of it is not routine. It is not for show. It is, even when Tefnut was mixed, I went on and did Tefnut anyway, but it is key because we're not just saying them as ritual or as a show. There's purpose in each and every one of those deities, that we are honoring them. And if we're going to honor them, we need to do it correctly. Or we're not even fully invoking or harnessing that energy if we're not doing it appropriately. Because they are not, we're saying, Nuke, show me your face, which means if we're not calling upon them correctly, what face do they have to show us? Why would they show up in our lives? And just like Himnetter said, covering his, even speaking of the organs, we're talking of the lungs, we're talking of all of the Messiharu, the parts of our body that are that are key organs for us to even have life. So we definitely need to do that correctly and honor them accordingly. All right, let's give our flowers, of course, first and foremost to our ancestors, those that are close to us and those that are distant. They allowed us to be here. All of the Nectaru flowers also to our Himneta and Tepi, the Jed, Ma'at, At, and Ra Jabari for creating the Shrine of Ma'at, Himneta Wasiri and his Queen Tara for allowing him time and space to be here with us every Sunday. And of course, Himneta Ames here with us today, and then all of you who constantly and consistently show up with us every Sunday for our session of adoration. Session of adoration. Before we get started, we will go ahead and do our 4 cleansing breaths and get into today's topic and discussion. All right. Well, of course, the first deep breath we're taking, we're going to clear our mind. The second, to clear our spirits. The third, to lighten our hearts. And the fourth, to breathe in Ma'at and exhale Ifset. I awake Ma'at. I align my thoughts, words, and actions with Ma'at. Dwa R Hrw. At this time, I'll turn it over for our reading for today, which, as you can see on the screen here, is going to be coming from the instructions of Ptah Hotep, the number 13 out of the instructions of Ptah Hotep. And I will mute and let Netter take it away.
It says here, I could show if this was a fitting place that archaeology is not at all divorced from life, nor even devoid of emotion, as subtle and strange, as swift and moving as that experienced by those who love and follow art. Archaeology, is, for those who know her, full of such emotion, garbed in an impenetrable glamour. She is raised far above the turmoil of the present on the wings of imagination. Her eyes are somber with the memory of the wisdom driven from her scattered sanctuaries, and at her lips wonderful things strive for utterance. In her are gathered together the longings and the laughter, the fears and failures, the sins and splendors and achievements of innumerable generations of men. And by her we are shown all the elemental and terrible passions of the unchanging soul of man, to which all cultures and philosophies are but garments to hide its nakedness. And thus in her, as in art, some of us may realize ourselves. Withal, she is heavy-hearted, making continual lamentations for a glory that has withered and all hope without fulfillment, and all her habitations are laid waste. As for the true lover of all old and forgotten things, as it may justly be said of him, as of the poet Nasir Nafit, for the dreams and the wonder are with him from the beginning and in her early childhood, knowing as yet hardly the names of ancient peoples. He is conscious of and yearns and instinctively toward an immense and ever receding path, with the one as with the other. The unaccountable passion is so knitted into his soul that it will never, among 1,000 distractions and adverse influences, entirely forsake him, nor can such and one by willing cause it to come or to depart. He will live much in it to come or to depart. He will live much in it imaginations, therein treading far fair places now and wrapped in the inevitable shroud of of wind of wind blown sand, building a new temple, whose stones hardly remain one upon the other. Consecrate to God, to Netta, dead as their multitudes of worshippers, holding converse with the sages who, with all their lore, who could not escape the ultimate oblivion, a spectator of splendid pageants, a magistrate at strange rites, a witness to vast tragedy. He also has admittance to the magical kingdom, to which is added the freedom of the city of remembrance. His care will be to construct patiently and with much labor a picture, which is often less than an outline of the conditions of the humanity that has been, and he neither rejects nor despises any relic, however trivial or unlovely, that will help him in its degree to understand better that humanity, or to bridge the wide chasms of his ignorance. Moreover, great age howls all things, even the most mean, investing them with a certain sanctity, and the little sandal of a nameless child, or the rude amulet placed long ago with weeping onto the still bosom of a friend, will move his heart as strongly by its appeal as the proud and enduring monument of a great conqueror, insatiable of praise, at, to- at times moving amongst the tokens of a period that the ravenous years dare not hold a face in passing. He hears calling faintly as from afar innumerable voices, the voices of those who, stretching from forth and shield eager hands towards life, greatly desire that some memorable of them, be it by a name, may survive in the word of man. Ashe.
I say, wow.
Ashe, ashe.
I say. This one is going to be deep. Wow, you picked a good one. I mean, you picked a real intense one. And for us who were listening, the first thing, which one was you reading from again? The scripture we were reading from. I can't really make it out because I'm for some reason I'm coming up with a small screen. I might have to next time just copy and paste it into a thing to come in.
I don't think
Which,
it's you, him, Netter. It's something. StreamYard changed the view,
mhm,
and I saw that in the beginning. I'm like, well, why did they do that? Because everything looks. I can see it too. It's small, and it's these two weird screens.
yeah.
This was from the instructions of Ptah Hotep, number
Uh,
13.
number 13. I have the teachings. I don't have the instructions.
That's ones I have, and it says the same thing. I have the I have the instructions. Do you have the teachings?
Yeah, I have the teachings. So that was really long. So let's do what we can do out of this analogy because it was so long. The key word that really stood out to me was archaeology. Did you, in the beginning, you read something about archaeology? I mean, say that again. Archaeology. I think it's dealing with what we have. Those people going back and studying chemic archaeology. So that was a key word there. And I heard building, and I heard amulet. So when you have a reading, to me, when you have a reading of that vast longness, you have to break some things. Archaeology is the study of going back in the past, of looking. That's what we, dig in, up and we reviewing things, and it was very strange that they were using that word way back then.
Mm-hmm. Of archaeology. True.
Archaeology, that they went back and archaeology is the study of things in the past and civilization. So that was a key right there of going into this scripture. And so I guess it's a reflection. I guess I, uh, we can go through the buildings, we can get the amulets, we can go look through all these things. I was just picking out key words as Himnetta was reading, and you have to have to try to bring those concepts in. So just as we have these people in our lands digging up and trying to make an assessment of what it is, and here we are, uh, uh, in a sense, doing archaeology of scripture. Uh, we must be a constant mindset of what we are doing. And I think that's what Patar was speaking of. Is yes, we can do all these things and all that, but how are you reflecting them in your life? That's the only kind of, from all that vast reading that you did, him, that I got from that. If someone else in the group can, build on that or something like that, or caught on some other key words, because like I said, it was a very long scripture. And so you have to pick out certain things. It's the same in the Purdan Rule. Sometimes you have to just take a section of it and just analyze it and try to get a concept, especially in this modern times, of what it's trying to convey. Someone else can now jump in, but that's kind of like what I was getting an assessment of this reading, because the key word is was going back and studying. It's the studying of something. And he was talking about buildings. He was using amulets and all this stuff. But you can put these amulets on. We wear the shrine, we wear ankhs. This is like an amulet. You can wear them all you want to, but are you getting into the true concept of how it is for you? That's what I got from that reading.
We said that I could show, if it were fitting, that archaeology is not at all divorced from life. Because what I'm getting out of it, just like you said, archaeology, building, and amulets, and it is seeming to be that the ancient times, the old ways, are getting buried over the rubbish. It's getting so buried over all of the new age things that it's seeming like it's so remote that it's almost impossible to find. But when a seeker goes out with the mindset of an archaeologist and he's willing to do the work, he or she is willing to do the work to uncover all of that rubbish, you will find the origins again. So it's saying, if it's not all divorced from life, nor even devoid from emotional and subtle and strange, and as swift moving as the experience by those who loved and follow art. She, archaeology, is, for those who know her, full of such emotion. Garbed in an imperishable glamour, she is raised far above turmoil of the present on the wings of imagination. So it takes somebody to have the mindset or imagine that there is old times to be able to not give up. Because with all of this new age stuff, it's easy to be distracted and give up. Some of us have a past that just pulled at us, even though we didn't know it existed. And like you said, we wear the garb, we wear the amulets, but all of these are things that are also energies or forces from our past, still keeping us connected to our ancestors, to the ancient times, so that all this new age rubble and things that pile on top of it don't distract us. And we still know that under all of that, there's still the origins, the divine origins of our people, which is why we try to go into these texts in the first place. That's kind of what I got out of it. Like you mentioned, those three things: archaeology, building, and amulets. And it was pretty lengthy, but as it went on, It's almost saying like the seeker is someone who is determined, is not going to give up and be fooled by all the stuff that's piled on top. They are going to dig. They are going to remove the rubble and still be able to find what was there, almost like our Sankofa. Go back
Yeah.
and fetch it.
And also, if you look at Kemet, it is amazing that I don't know if anyone else put on a knowledge to this. Um, we will just go with the basics, the basic time frame from the first dynasty. I say pretty much to the 19th or 20th dynasty, and those covered a lot of thousands and thousands of years.
Mhm.
But have you noticed that the dressing, the garmentry didn't change in 500 years? We in the last in my lifespan, there has been a change in garment and in a civilization where you live. Any place you go, there's a kind of like a change in the not only just in the thinking, but in the customs, building. You think about architecture. You think of you just even in the Europeans, the Tomahawks. You think about if you look from the time they left the thousand after the 1,000 year reign of Rome, and by the 12th dynasty, 12th century into what we call the 16th century. Even in America, here we only been here 250 years, but there have been changes in buildings, clothing, architecture, and all that. But if you go look at Kemet, or even go down to Nubia, it didn't change. You can look at their artwork because they definitely kept making statues and buildings and all. It really didn't change.
And you
Only
also
thing
gotta
that
wonder, did
it,
our ancestors intentionally make sure it couldn't be changed?
that's a
You
concept.
know?
Not only in the place that I've been in my life where I seen something where a culture hanged on to something was when I was stationed in Japan.
Mhm.
And even though they had the modern things, they really did not change in a thing. They and Asia, they were listening to music. I was listening to the 70s, and here it was the 80s, and they still on music in the early 70s when I was in. So that was the only place I've seen something like that. We might have, you know, but just take that as we dealing with archaeology and all that, and what he's saying. That was something that jumped out at me years ago, that they didn't change. They buildings didn't change. They clothing didn't change. And we talking. You just deal of just take one of the millennials in their history and look at a millennium in our what we call modern history and see how much changed.
Right.
So it was very profound of what you were saying about holding on, and they held on to things a lot longer, so it didn't get away from, I guess, you
Yeah.
know.
And I
And
think that's very interesting. Just like you're saying, Kemet and Nubia, um, Ethiopia, a lot of our ancient African cultures, even whatever has been anything, and like you said, really, most of them didn't change. You can still find the similarities from the ancient times, from what archaeology can prove, like what we're talking about, but also I think about that, just that had just came up when I mentioned, maybe they made it so that it wouldn't be able to be, manipulated. And I think we're even seeing that in the proof as they are digging, and archaeologists digs, just like all of our statues in Kemet and the temples, and not just Kemet, like you said, Nubia, even before Kemet. If you enough digging, what they find is the origin. And after all those thousands and thousands of years and time, and the elements of of the environment has gone and run their courses, certain things are still in its original form. Just like, the things besides what they try to manipulate or cover up. Once you dig, and once you knock all of that stuff off, you find that statue. You find that the carvings on the wall. You find those things it's starting to appear like they made sure that they wouldn't change no matter how much time evolved. Because I was how it, just like in the concept of saying Kofa, go back and fetch it. We're able to go back and fetch it because they made sure we'd be able to find it when we came looking.
Mhm. Yeah, that was very unique. That he wrote that those thousands of years ago. Anyone in the other side of us, anyone in the group that's chatting or putting any comments?
Let's see what they're saying here, because I mean we have a lot of scholarly folks. Let's see if we have any comments here in reference to this. Oh yeah, oh definitely. So first we'll shout them all out. We got Sin Garrett Van here, full member Kazi or Sinet Oye. We've got our Dati from the Benue, William Humphrey, also known as Tuhuti Forever. James Chris Limba. Let's see. Um, Sin Curtis. The value of archaeology is that it gives you a window to the voices of our ancestors, that they speak to us today. Through the study of archaeology and their voices guide what we construct today as replication of their way of living and how we live today. Absolutely, absolutely. Then William Humphrey, our Jotty says Kemet ran for 3,000 years, yet has only been gone for 2,000 years. And if we're looking to the past so much, so where are they looking into their own past? Good question. That is a good question. We're looking into the past, and were they looking into their own past? See, what we know here today is that, like he said, that they ran for 3,000 years, and that they've only been gone for 2,000 years. Well, who knows really how long that information was there for them when they came into it? Were they looking into their past? That's a really, 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 really good question. Really good question. And
Well, in a way, that's kind of true because if we go off the readings of the Shabaka stones of King Shabaka, remember when he found it, he found on a cloth written this reading, and which is you'll get that. I think I gave it out to y'all. It deals with the Mythite theology, which that is our foundation. A lot of us know that we've come from these different shrines, or Baba was the shrine of Ptah, Jabari, myself, all came out of that, and then he formed the. But what is our theology? Our theology, or our practice, it was 4 schools of thought, and one of the schools of thought was the Mythite theology, based off what was found off the Shabaka stone. Remember, Shabaka found moth written papyrus with the stuff, and he decided to put it in stone, so it would go down and it'd be honoring his ancestors. So yes, he went back. That was kind of like archaeology right there. When he found it, he discovered it, and so he put it in stone, and so his name would carry along with the ancestors and stuff, so it wouldn't be erased from history. And so basically, you're right, they are constantly going back, and it's through archaeology we see that what we think is the beginning of Kemet goes back a lot further than what we perceive. Okay, dealing with just the great Merakuti and the Hrw and Ket, which both called the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. We see that these 2 structures are far older, especially the Hrw and Ket, far older than we can anticipate. And I think that even by the time of the first dynasty, that they were trying to rediscover themselves and their teachings, because as you can see, it went up to a certain part. You notice that after the sixth dynastic period, there were no other Makuts created or made.
Hmm.
None. All the good, all of them, all the ones that have been found were done in the first sixth dynastic period. So they themselves were trying to say, "Who am I?
Hmm.
Where do I come from? What is our?" They were still trying to go back and grasp.
Hmm.
Again, this goes with understanding the mythology or mythos that's in, and you can see it in the Pertinru, that they, that I told you that by the first cost started this, our ancient ancestors followed the mythos of the stars.
Hmm.
Uh, when the time of the mother principle was in charge, before there was a king principle in charge, there was a mother principle in charge. And it might be hard for folks to understand this, but it was. And that's where we get the lunar mythos.
Hmm.
They understood the digested period of the menstrual cycle of the woman. They understood the change in concept and things. So and that was a great long period of the. I don't think when I say this, it lasted for a month or 1,000 years. I think it lasted for a great of the great cycle of the 26,000 years of this great cycle that we're talking about. So you got, we when we talk about this and some of the words they're using, it's back there in time,
Hmm.
and they're letting us know that that this customs that they inherit, just like we are inheriting it now, they were inheriting it back then, and they were trying their best to maintain it, overstand it, put into practical order. And it was for some, because of the timing, and they wasn't in and they didn't wasn't outside influences guiding their culture, they were able to keep it in a closed cycle that it could manifest.
Right. They were doing what we're trying to do now. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but we are not in our own closed cycle.
Exactly, exactly. But they had more. They were, because of that. They were more access. They had more access to that knowledge because they were in their closed cycle, and we detached from it and are now going back to try to find it and try to, you know what I mean, try to remember. In other words, you know what I mean. But I think that's that makes that extremely powerful, because if we can look at it now where we stand on this, just imagine how many thousands or even more, like you said, 26,000, when they were, it could have been 26,000, who knows. The time frame is really unmeasurable because
Mhm,
they inherited it just like we did. So
mhm,
we really can't even measure how ancient or how distant that time may or may not have been, but
that's
it's
something.
it's evident that it existed.
And to show you that it was a something that could be um, that could happen, we can take a civilization that we know about, and if you learn about Japan, Japan cut themselves off from the rest of the world, and a lot of their customs lasted for a couple of not only I think over 1,000 years, or a couple close to 1,000 years, when they cut themselves off, and it was no other influence coming into the land. So can that happen? Yes, we have an analogy. We have something that can reflect that can be manifested or could happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
So this scripture that you point out is, it gives us as initiates, because we still all, even I am still an initiate in this, a way of trying to reflect back it's going to be much more difficult for us because we are in a society that's not our own. And the world has changed greatly from the thousands of years ago. And I think that when we reflect back, we must try to balance it out. That's my odd. We are going to balance it out with this westernized culture that we all been raised in, and with our other side of the scale, with our Akabulan uh, garden of wealth of knowledge to combine, because we are the true inheritance of the earth, and we need to put things back into order. And we are the ones that are going to do this. Um, Not in maybe in me and your lifespans, but our children's lifespans, if we can get this in order. So it is very, it was a different. When Zori, where did you find that scripture?
Look at where it led us. I mean, that's awesome. I think that's an effort because look at where it led us. And so I think last week, St. Curtis or someone had mentioned, but this is a perfect explanation as being, in this world, but not of it. We are in this Western society, but we don't necessarily, like you said, we're not necessarily of it. We're in it, and we are looking to create that. We are not even looking, we're creating that balance from where we come from and where we exist, where we reside.
And we also will not. I think we have a tendency, and I hope that all of what Western civilization manifested was corrupt. Every civilization, remember the Nebuchadnezzar manifests everything, even with the manifestation of them and other cultures. You understand? And so what it reminds us is that even though a lot of it, some of it, the good parts are based off us, they did develop some themselves. There's no civilization comes forth on this manifest, does not manifest something.
Right. Or they wouldn't have become a civilization if they didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yes, they borrowed and they might have enhanced all of us, that even ancient chemists enhance what they learned from Nubia. They're beginners in the Nubia. And Ty said he comes from Ty and Terra, what we call the equatorial, and all those concepts came. So we should not get into saying all that Western civilization manifest was wrong, because out of that, certain things that in this thing came about that we have brought to the world, and and so we must be mindful of that.
And we also got to realize that civilizations that do rise and become a civilization, whether they rise or fall, and just because, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think a lot of times, I'm gonna use the quotes. A lot of times, woke, let's say woke or conscious people get into that notion of Western, this, that, you know what I mean? It is still no justice, or it's not serving anything to keep yourself in the mindset of separatists. Just like going, oh, we're Kemites, but the Christians did this. The Christians, we're not claiming gangs or sects here. What we're doing is creating a balance within, because we exist in all of this right now. Right now, we're not isolated from Western, Eastern, Northern. We exist in this right now. So to create a balance in all of that, to keep repeating that this was stolen or that was taken or this or that, well, some of those things are true, but ideas are passed on and manipulated and recreated to fit that era, that time, that environment, that those people, whatever the case may be. Even if the effects on it became a negative effect on you or your culture. This is what made that culture thrive. Now, can you go in and say, well, they thrived off of slavery and off of our backs? And all? Of course, we know all of these things. And it's not to say that that stuff gets, it's not about sweeping it under the rug, but it's about right now where you exist in this life experience that we are having and how to create the balance in that. We know all of those things. So now what can we do tangibly to utilize what our ancestors left us and where we exist right now in this world? We exist in the Western world. So you can't really separate yourself from the Western world. You were born in it, you were raised in it. So now that you are in it, how do you cultivate the ancient DNA that's within each and every one of us, our neter given inheritance of this divinity in this world? We are Westerners, technically. This is where we were born. Our ancestors are not, but we are.
Not ancient ancestors, but most of yes.
And most of them, even our distant ancestors, are Westerners too.
Yes, in the last 400 years, yes. 400 years, yes.
So
I want to hear some of the thoughts of the other ones. Anybody else chiming in on this?
Let's see. We've got oh yeah, look at this. So we even have our St. James Chris Limba. His queen Hatshepsut made a memorial journey during her reign to the land of Punt or Kush, acknowledging their past. And they were originally from up south. I like how you said that too, up south.
Yes.
Yeah. Dua for that. Up south. Says we need a revolutionary unification among us here and on the continent to reorganize and modernize us for the future. Exactly. And they don't want us anymore. Well, that's true. Because it's been thousands of years. They don't want us there anymore. Do we force ourselves on them? No. We exactly.
We don't want us there anymore.
Yeah. We don't, I don't even think that it's necessary for us to he's saying that, for instance, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, St. James, he's saying they don't want us anymore. Do we force ourselves on them, or do we go and build our own? And I'm assuming he's meaning like, but that's Egypt. That's not Kemet either.
Yeah, and there's the ones that don't. If you hear, like we have a little thing going on now that remember that the knowledge they learned about us here in the West, especially as African, what we call African Americans, to them in their culture. Remember, they grew up in colonialism, which is a little different aspects of teaching and the way they'd seen the world and how it was perceived to them. And you have to learn that for a long time, what media, especially the news media, did. And I'm going to take you for instance, as I said, I was stationed in Japan. That was my first place. And they asked me where I was from. And being from, in New York, we just didn't say, oh, I'm from New York.
Right.
We said what borough we were from. I said the Bronx. And several Japanese people did like this. When they see me, they were like, the Bronx. But I didn't know that they had been seeing such documentaries, which PBS goes on. I didn't even know at the time that it was reflecting out in the world. They saw a documentary called The Bronx is Burning. And another thing, I think is 20 blocks from Tiffany. And it was talking about so their perception of Blacks and Latinos was based off what the imagery that was being shown to them through the technology. And do not think that did not reflect those in Africa, because I've seen that when I went to Africa. My first country in Africa I got a chance to visit was Kenya. And not only did I have they had a strange reflection on us, I had a real strange reflection on them because of what was shown to me about Africa.
And what did we see? That they feed the homeless, the flies on the little kids.
So to say that they do not want us, no, it's not true. They just don't understand like I said, it's been a misconception. But now the barriers are breaking down. And
I can say that it might be
to come back. And Baba Hrw said that too. Baba Hrw said that the awakening, we were supposed to be back in there at times, but we were not ready. And that's why I say we have to be ready for the new children that are being brought back and it's not just in our culture. And all of them, they are more. They are cycling back
Well,
again. And the
what it
last
was,
time
St.
we
James,
wasn't ready for them, and they tore this planet up.
well, he said, St. James was saying, no, it's the U.S. that don't want us. The U.S., not. He said, it's here, U.S. that don't want us.
Well, there's those that small, minute people who say that, but anybody with good common sense, they know that we make them laugh. One of the things, they come to our comedy shows. They understand our food. It helps to like and they show this on Instagram. Like the one that blew me away was the white girl went to her friend's house for Thanksgiving, and she was on the floor eating that, but it was seasoned food she had never, you know. So no, there is only a small group of them that could say they don't want us, and the fools are very limited. Even though they try to project that they are a lot, it's very limited. They know they could not, and that's the same. Not only for us, the Asians, the people from India, this culture would just falter, collapse. So it's only a small group of them, and they try to project that they are a lot, but they are very minute compared to the whole population. and, and they isolated too. So what can I say?
I definitely.
Anybody else say anything else real quickly? I wanted to see if anybody else chimed in.
Nope, that was all the comments we got, which was pretty good. I'm glad. This was a great, Himnetter was there. He has a tendency of reading things. You don't know where it's gonna go, but it opens up a can. I'm trying to tell you, every week.
I was trying my best. I was like, where am I going with this?
Every week, I kid you not, he pulls out something and it opens up a whole.
And then he sits back to take notes. Have you
Yep.
noticed?
Yes, he does. He does it every week. And I don't know where I'm like, we don't talk about what he's going to read, but when he pulls it out of the hat, and it's like, okay, well, what are we going to talk? I'm listening to the reading and I'm like, well, where is this? And then it ends up opening this whole gate.
It's like he flips to the thing and said, today. Okay, I'm going to start here. And I'm like, whoa.
I love how that works out. It really, really, really does work out. And I want to comment just to St. James, where I know, right? Where he was like, so do we force, the U.S. don't want us, so do we force ourselves on the U.S.? No, we don't force ourselves on the U.S. They forced us upon them. They forced us here in the first place, majority of us, those of us who weren't here in the first place. So now they take it or leave it. One thing that you can definitely confirm, another analogy that we definitely have seen with proof, archaeology, you can do whatever you can. The black man or woman will never be erased. All of your attempts have failed. You can take us, you can uproot us from out of where we originate from. And what do? We make a new song. We make a new beat. You see how we are resilient in that manner. So wherever we are on this planet, we will thrive. As you can see, we have always done so, and we will continue to do so. So whether it's the
long
US,
as there's Ra in the sky, long as Ra's in the sky.
as long as Ra rises in the sky, we rise.
Because of our mud.
And this isn't just speaking
because about what?
Proud that, but it's the truth. If you look at history, we have always existed. No matter what the attempts have been on any of us, we're resilient. We don't force ourselves on the. We didn't ask to come here in the first place, but we're here now.
You know what Baba called that? Dwa R Hrw years ago called this Kamor. Do you know what Kamor? I think I'm pronouncing it right. Kamor is the thing that all life on thing has. All human beings have it, but we manifest it more. Kamor is, if I remember correctly, I'm going to one. I wish Himnetta Kepra was here. I think it's melanin he's talking about. The reason why I say Ra, why they gave hymns to Ra, because they understood how the sun manifested on our melanin. And our melanin is in everything concept throughout every human being's body, but strongly in ours.
Hmm.
And it helps with the cellular breaks down and structures of your cells. Melanin, it heals any scar. It's what we call a scab that manifests over a wound. Melanin is the essence of the things, the neurons that connect the things in your brain. Your brain has melanin. It has a high concentration of it. And not everyone has it. We just have it in a greater number.
Hmm.
And the sun affects us a lot differently than others. That's why we can go into anything and seem to manifest greatly. And they just understood the science of how it affect our sports things, and so they jumped on that because it made them money and stuff like that. But
Absolutely.
it's other things that we have done in the scientific community. And
And what
one of the things that you should get is
he's speaking, while he's speaking on melanin, this is
get this book
look at that, Blacks and Science.
by Dr. Ivan Van Sertimer.
Mm.
This is one of his groups of books. Um, it is a very key. That is, if you might have heard of him. That is Dr. Ivan Van Sertimer,
Okay.
and it's Blacks in Science and Ancient and Modern.
And while
So
you're speaking on melanin, there, I mean, this is small, but most of you probably have from Dr. Layla Africa. He talks about melanin super, super deep. And this information, the scientific information in it can be backed up. What makes Black people Black, how to protect and nourish it, difference between Black and white people, how it causes emotional behaviors and thoughts, and how it's being destroyed also. You know, oh yeah, that's it. Yes. Now that's more in depth there.
yes, and
Yes.
this is by Dr. T. Owens Moore,
Oh
PhD.
yes. Yes, yes, yes.
So
Well
you
respected.
have to, in order to understand dispelling the myth. And another one was dealing with a little bit more. It's called I hope I find it. Black Dye. Oh, Black Dye. I have to look for it. Uh, when you have a vast library, you have to look for stuff.
Right, right. I try to categorize mine. Like I put the health stuff over here, histories. I try to, but it don't end up staying that way.
Yeah. Well, it's a book written years ago. It's called Black Dot Black Seed.
Mm.
I know the title, Black Dot Black Seed. It's probably in there somewhere. But that is a good book because uh, it's a good book to understand about the melanin. And so, and later on, we can get into Dr. Akbar,
Okay.
PhD,
Okay.
and the other stuff. But like I said, we gave you a little preview of something to add to your library in terms of melanin because it's it's good to know those science too.
Absolutely.
Huh?
Well, definitely, definitely, definitely a good topic today. Let me make sure we have see if we have any other comments or anything like that before we move on. Himnetter Waziri, I always got to give you that shout out. I don't know how you manage to do this every week. All I can say is keep it up. It's definitely intriguing to see what the conversation is going to be like and what you come up with and then where it goes. So I think that is so that's the beauty and the fun in this. I actually enjoy, not only are we all learning something and conversing and different things like that, I think it just comes to, you know what I mean? It gives us great things to talk about and great ideas. And basically we create hypotheses ourselves here and we test them out and look at theories and be able to pull up that information. So I think it's wonderful. Not only are we reading, we call that Sebaid, but um, we're together. We're all kind of digging in, archaeologists ourselves here virtually. So I think that is also awesome. I do want to announce, well, I'll get into announcements later, but I do want to suggest that all of those out there looking, I'd like to, just like Himneta Ames has done, I like to get some of our, every now and then, not every week, but if we can get some other hymnetters or metnetters to come on, even the Jati, I see you out there. I know you were busy when I reached out to you, Sintahudi, but anytime, if you guys have a time or a Sunday that you would like to come on and share with us, like Ames has done with the, like Himneta or Ames has done, that would be great. Having some of the other, I don't know what term to use. I don't like to say leaders, but some of our, even getting, some of, like I said, some of the other hymnetters or hymnetters and things like that. So I'll be reaching out to some of you guys to see if you want to come on any of the Sundays to either read or discuss, just like Himneta Ames does. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this every week.
I didn't know that was a good one. I'm walking away today.
Yeah.
So I'm about to. I'll have to bounce him because, as you know, the Major General didn't call today
I
because
was going to say that phone about right?
I'm supposed to be heading up to see her. So
I
I
was
did.
just about to say your phone hasn't rung yet. You in trouble or something?
No, but I am going to check on her. Another cool thing I will share is that the healing process is coming along good. I have my good days and bad days, but mostly good. Um, and The process for the next phase is, which I'm dreading. I'm not so much dreading the radiation therapy as much as I'm dreading the chemo. So now I'm trying to get into a mindset, even though it's only one day, it's 7 doses, and it's going through my whole body. So it's not like the radiation when it's pinpointed that was in my face. So um, thank you again to those who have sent me stuff. I will get my thank you. I got a nice plant. I got some herbal stuff, and I'm truly blessed by having y'all in my family. So I am getting the body prepared for this next phase of the battle. And now the final thing is the mind. The mind is the thing, and so I hope to reach out to get us some second opinions and stuff on that. But other than that, I'm in good spirits, and I'm trying to make these more regular. It might be a little hard in December, so you might see a little fall off in December, like I said, into mid-January because of the intensity of going through both radiation and chemo. Okay,
So,
but other than that,
have
wow.
we're going to have you lifted always. You know what I mean? And you are, we always, no matter what, I will send you the link every week, period. When whatever, so, and you can always watch it live, but I'll send you the stage link every week, of course, you know what I mean? To make sure you get that. And, we always raise you up, and we also ask that Sekhmet keep and heal and watch over you, and that Emotep's hands are upon all of those who are working on you and everything, and for your greater good. You know what I mean? May their hands be steady. May all of those things that are coming your way be a breeze and easy for you to get to the other side of this. And hopefully you suffer the lightest none at all.
Yeah.
So
Do I.
we are here.
So, folks, I know you're going to have to continue on. Like I said, I'm going to have to chime out a little early. Again, this has been a blessing for me. This is also part of my healing and part of what I'm supposed to do. As you can see, that spiritual realm for me comes in because I try not, I know I do, but sometimes I don't. And it helps me to push forth my knowledge that I've acquired all these years to manifest. And I hope it, as I like to say, I love I love Sherlock Holmes. So I hope it brings out the Sherlock Holmes in you, that you'll do your critical analysis, investigation of what you hear today. Go get these books. Um, Come back at us if you have learned this. What we were just talking about is one of our views on this, but I hope you can go back out, those who are listening in, and look at it. Look at the find the scripture yourself that he was reading from, and do some critical analysis, and then come back. We, like I said, we don't have to just read something one week and just move on and then to the next one. We can also circle back on those things that we have covered and come back and say, "Oh, I'll come back with this one. This is
Right,
what."
right. I found something different, or whatever. But that's exactly right.
We
Please
have
give,
to come back. Don't
that's
get in the concept of just doing and forgetting. This is how we keep it going. It could have been something 4 or 5, 3 months ago or something. I said, and you have done it. Come back. Have you heard about this? I think this scripture and that literature ties in. So let's be put that on. Okay.
absolutely. I love it. Give your love, give our love, give myrrh to your mom for us,
Yes.
and
Do I?
let her know we greatly tell her Dua for allowing you to give us that time today, please.
Yo, yeah, boy, I got a general. Y'all just don't know. Jabari knows now because my mother and his mother are the same, two Christian practitioners, and he got to know her, and she loved him. Okay, Dua, everyone, have a blessed continued Sunday and a blessed week, and I'll chime in with y'all soon again next week.
All right, myrrh to you.
Uncle Jobson.
Jobson there.
Uncle Johnson Neb. You did it. You done it again. Him Netter was there. You done it again. I love it. This was great. We had a good conversation. Yes. All right. We are going to get ready to close up, but I do have, our last order of business. So I do have a couple of announcements, and then we'll go ahead and finish out with balancing the scales. Himnetta, is there anything that you'd like to add to the discussion of today? I saw you taking notes, and you got kind of quiet because you always stirred up the pot.
Look, we ought to be thankful for the fact that we can assess what has been read and be able to bring forth of the things and the information that it is bringing to us. So I am thankful for that, and the fact that if you look at that, some of the things that I like what it said that among a thousand distractions and adverse influences entirely for the sake of him, know that that we have the imagination and the fact that we can go back to the emotions, like I said, and the emotions will not be buried by the fact that like Amos talked about archaeology, for the fact that what the emotions that we had before have not been buried, and that our imagination is connected to what we think and some of the things that we can bring forth. So that's very important.
Absolutely.
Well, I like the fact that he said, like whatever we derive from what we have just read, we don't have to stop here, and we can continue and go forth and bring it forth and do further investigation.
Absolutely. And circle back to it. Any of the topics that we talk about is something resonates with any of you all, even any of ourselves, and we jot it down and we want to investigate that further and bring that back. I make sure to write down the readings, what we read each week, so that I know, if, okay, it was the week, this is the week that I wanted to come back to and discuss this, but anytime anybody wants to bring anything back up or found some more information in any of those topics, that's awesome. All right. For our announcements, I do have some updated information in reference to Baba Hiru. I was supposed to be getting a new flyer, which I did not have not seen just yet, but there has been some changes in reference to the celebration. The celebration is now going to be one day, which is going to be that Saturday, the 6th of December. It's no longer going to be 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be the one day. I will post again. There is a GoFundMe that you can donate to. There's also a Zelle that you can donate to if you like to make any donations for Baba Hiru, which I can strongly encourage and hope that everyone can. No amount is too small, of course. The tickets will not be paid for as it was going to be when it was going to be a 2-day event. It is going to be a free event, but it's going to be an all-day event. Something should be coming out where you can register to go, but there's going to be an early day and then there's going to be an evening. So I'm not sure at this time if it's going to be morning or mid-afternoon and then evening. So it's going to be like a duplicate. It's going to be 2 sessions because it's going to be an all-day event. And this will be able to accommodate everyone that's expected to be there, because we know that Baba Hiru has a lot of people who are going to be coming to show honor to him. So it's going to be like a earlier ceremony, and then the evening. Again, they're going to both be pretty much identical and the same. You'll have the opportunity to say whether or not you want to come in the morning or if you want to come in the evening. And that's what's going to be like registration. It's going to be like via something like Eventbrite, if not Eventbrite itself, where you can register to confirm. That's going to give the committee the head count that's necessary, so to make sure that it's accommodated, everybody can fit in the space, because the space is going to be at the Caribbean Culture Center, which is that, is that Harlem?
Caribbean Cultural Center.
I'll tell you that that is, one moment here, I'll tell you. I think it's Harlem Caribbean Culture Center. It's on 120 feet, 120 East, 125th Street.
Yeah, that's Harlem.
Okay, so Harlem. And it's kind of like an art gallery. I think the space is not large. It fits 150 people. So that's why it'll be pretty much the two events that day. And that information, as far as being able to register, will come out. I should know that at least by Wednesday at the next meeting. But that's the definite date, and that's the definite pretty much order of how things are going to go. It's definitely going to be at the Caribbean Culture Center. It's definitely going to be Saturday the 6th. The exact time I'm still unsure of, and then how the registration is going to take place. For the most part, I've got everybody's emails. If you are planning on attending and you haven't responded, if you could just shoot me a message saying that you're going, and make sure that I have your email and phone number, would be great. Most of you did respond. For those of you that I know that are going, I have made an email list of that information that I could submit to Bob Hiru's family. So anybody listening, if you are planning on going and you haven't reached out to me, if you can, that would be great. Or if you have other connects that you reach out to let them know that you'll be there, that'll be helpful too, as they're trying to obtain an estimated head count. All right. As far as that goes, we had one solar return this week, which is one of our members, Glenda Michelle. Her birth date is on 11/21. So if you're out there listening, Glenda, happy solar return to you. We send you myrrh and wish you many, many, many more trips around the sun. All right. And lastly, I guess, let me go get my rusty feather. All right. So the usual, my scale here, which I'm just going to sit down. I say the same thing every week. Yes, I'm going to show my little dusty feather. I know. Y'all tired of hearing it, but I got to show it. And my little heart jewel doohickey. Like I said, I think it fell off a cheap purse. I bought a knockoff purse and it was a heart on it and it fell off. I'm not materialistic. I don't buy name brand stuff. So if it was, I wasn't, nobody tricked me. I knew it was fake. I just thought it was cute. Cute enough to fall apart. So, all right. So if we could clear our minds. And I did not have a plan of what the focus would be this week. So we just gonna freestyle it. Let's see. Let's pull up any one of my notes and I'm just gonna eeny, meeny, miny, moe it and just pick it. Okay. We did that last week. I don't know. Let's pick the basic one and say truth. Truth. Truth is eternal. When we live truthfully, we align with the original order of the cosmos. Nuk ma'at keru. I am ma'at. I am true of voice. I know that sometimes truth can be a hard pill to swallow, especially when it comes to telling the truth to ourselves. We can speak truth, but when we are looking in the mirror and there's nobody else there but you and Natur, because ultimately Natur is within, you cannot hide. So I just suggest and I say be true to yourself, no matter what that means. Always be true to yourself, even in small matters. Don't deceive yourself. It's not worth it. It's lowly. It's a matter of our lower energy. So be honest with yourself, even when it's not pretty. Because at the end of the day, which is a statement I can't stand saying, but truthfully, in this case, at the end of the day, when you close your eyes at night, you got to be okay with you. So make sure that you are. And if you are not, it's the rouge ma'at before you close your eyes, because you may not get a chance to open them again. And that is all I have to say about truth. Himnetta, why don't you close us out today with something?
I was waiting for you to do. What is you usually do? The Amasu?
I'll do that one, or I'll let's see, we can do Amasu. Actually, let's do something a tad bit different. How about that? Where are you? Just a tad bit different. We will close out with a prayer here. Where is he? Just a moment. All right. Let's see. So this here is, and I know I've mentioned this once before, but we've got one of our full members who wrote a book. His name is Nelson Castile, and he actually wrote a book of Kemetic prayers. And let's see if I go to this, see if I can just find one to close us out here. Okay. All right. So let's see. This one here, he's got several prayers in here. And why don't we just go with the one he did with for Ra? He says, Father Ra, I ask that you shine your light through me. And I'm going to change the verbiage to us because this prayer is for all of us. Father Ra, I ask that you shine your light through us. May your wisdom, power, life, and truth be made manifest in our being. Send us as a light into a dark world that we may bring illumination. Inspire us to be an inspiration. And with that, I say, Dwa Natur, Dwa Natur, Dwa Natur. So Nelson, you definitely have a beautiful book of prayers, which I will be utilizing some of them each week as we close out. I hope you're out there listening and Dua for your work in this book.
Dua.
Dua. Until next week, Shem Imhotep, everyone. Much more to you. Have a wonderful week. I do believe that there is comedic ascension today. So if so, I'll see you there.
Shemamat.